Alright, I'm going to show you how to upgrade your Y-axis using the Y-axis upgrade kit for your Printrbot Play. So the first thing you need to do is unpack it. It comes with a bunch of stuff, including the build plate, some new metal bars, some new plastic heads that go on either side of the plate, and even some new belt and some new screws to hold the top plate down. So the first thing you need to do is remove that old top plate. Move the Z-axis all the way to the top and then fully unscrew using a Phillips head screwdriver the build plate. So the next thing you're going to do is turn it around, and there's a tensioner that holds the belt in place. Use your Allen key or hex key to unscrew that entirely. And then just unwind that. And you can literally pull the front and back plastic part to pull the build plate off. Now don't lose the tensioner or the that came with the old belt. So now I'm just making sure the bars slide into place and trying to fit the plastic ends on there. One thing you'll want to do is probably prime them. So what I did is I took it back off there, and I'm just using a rubber mallet. I've got them in place and just giving them a light tap so that the bars all fit firmly and all the way down into the plastic plate before you continue. Pull the ends back off, and then you can go ahead and place it back through the holes, the bars through the holes, and push the plastic ends back on. Make sure it moves back and forth smoothly. And then we're going to need the new belt now, so get it out of the package. And we're going to need the tensioner from the old belt. So I had to clip off the old zipper tie there, and then you'll have to make sure it's fully removed. So we're going to use the new the old tensioner on the new one, belt. So the first thing we're going to do is put it through the two grooves there, making sure that the teeth mesh together on the belt. Slide over the zipper tie and pull it tight to lock it down. Make sure the head of the zipper tie ends up on top. Alright, so you have to clip off the excess zipper tie, and now we're going to take the hex screws, the old Allen screws, off the old build plate platform, because we're going to use those to attach to the tensioner through the plastic part of the build platform, the new build platform. So I just held the tensioner in place and slowly screwed them in by hand. We'll tighten them slightly later on, so just leave them pretty loose. The next thing we're going to do is make sure that we put the belt on properly. The tooth side of the belt needs to wrap around the silver, and then the flat side of the belt goes around the black pulley in the middle, and then of course it goes through the two holes on the other side. So you can see there, goes through the two holes, and again you want to pinch together the teeth, mesh them together. You might want to make it firm and tight, and then tighten everything up with the zipper tie around. Make sure it's as close to the build plate as possible, and again facing the head of the zipper tie up, and clip that again. And then what you want to do is then tighten those hex screws on the tensioner to make the belt firm and tight. Kind of, you can pluck it like a banjo. So just stick those Allen keys in there, tighten that up. You don't want it to be too tight, but just the right tightness. You can pluck it, and it still smoothly moves back and forth. All right. If you've got extra belt that's getting in the way, and I had to clip the excess belt that was hanging off. Make sure it didn't get caught in the machine. Alright, so now we're going to put on the new build platform itself. I did it by screwing down alternating corners first to make sure that it fit, and then that made it easier for the next two screws to go directly down into the correct holes. So I initially tried using one of the old screws, and the old screws are too small. All right, so the next 2 steps, we move to the computer, and the first thing we want to do is tell Cura that our build plate is a new size, and so to do that we go to Machine and Add New Machine, and then we choose Printrbot and say Next. Again, we're going to say Simple Metal even though it's a Printrbot Play. And then the next thing we need to do is go to Machine, and we go down and change the machine settings. So now we've got 100, 203, and 130. And then I renamed mine from Printrbot Simple Metal to Printrbot Play, and then the Y-axis upgrade. The last thing we need to do is tell the Printrbot Play itself that it has a larger build area, and we do that by going to the print dialog. So plug in your Printrbot, load an STL file, and then you'll want to push the print button to load that up. And then we just wait until the Printrbot connects to the computer, and you can tell when you can start seeing temperature readouts there. I always home the X and Y axis just to make sure everything's communicating properly. Okay, so the last thing we do here in the print dialog box is we type M501, uppercase M, and when you press enter, you see a big readout, and then in the same box, M211 space Y203. Presumably we're telling the machine it has 203 millimeter Y-axis now. And then to save the changes, M500. And of course you can press the buttons here in the print dialog to test out how well everything's working, but the best test of all, of course, is to print something big and see how well it works.